Okay, so in the last class, we have completed a concept of business communication. So in the last previous class, we have understood what are the concepts of communication, what are the features of communication, importance of communication, the process flow of communication, how it will flow from sender, developer, encode, decode, receiver, feedback, and all these things. So after that we understood different methods of communication, then different flows of communication and communication networks. Okay, so and after that, and today we are going to start with our lesson 5, that's going to be listening skills. Okay, so the basic concept of listening skills, what we understand is how much ever efforts the sender puts in, the receiver has to be attentive and concentrating on the content which is being shared by the sender. So that's what is being called as listening. So listening is not just hearing some noise or hearing what the speaker is talking, but listening involves the analyzing the concept what is being explained by the sender. Okay, like what is he talking, what is the content what he's talking, how it is being presented, what are the efforts that he's taking to present the concepts. Okay, so all these things has to be analyzed when a speaker is speaking. So that's what is important in terms of a listener. Okay, so in this chapter we are going to understand what are the qualities that a listener should have. So we have explained you all this while being a sender, how communication is important, and how being a sender I have to take care all the things, how it has to be important for a receiver. Okay, but now they are telling from the perspective of a receiver, what are the qualities that he has to be involved, like what are the basic essential things that he should have in order to understand the things what is being told from the sender. So only when both the people involved in the communication process are being effective, only then the communication process itself will become an effective process. Okay, if one person fails to understand what the other person is saying, then it will be a total confusion and the effective communication process will not be completed and the organization goals can't be achieved. Okay, for this perspective, in today's chapter, we are going to understand as a listener or as a receiver, what are the qualities that we require in terms of listening the information what is being shared to us. Okay, excuse me. So in this concept, we are going to start with the introduction. That is, just a minute. Just a minute. Just a minute. Um, okay. Fine. According to Oxford Living Dictionaries, to listen simply means giving attention to sounds or action. Okay, plain listening means whatever sounds or actions or noise that we listen around us, we are just paying attention. In fact, effective listening is the process of analyzing sounds in a language, organizing them into recognizable patterns, interpreting the patterns, and understanding the message by inferring the meaning. Okay, listening is the receiving part of communication, and listening is all about receiving information through both our ears and eyes. So here they are being very specific where they say in order to listen, you just have to listen to the sounds around you. But if you want to be an effective listener, you have to understand how a concept is being explained, the language in which they are trying to explain, how much of efforts they are trying to put, what is the pattern in which they are trying to explain. Just like watching a movie, okay? How is it flowing? How is the pattern flowing? The same way in explaining a story or explaining or narrating some information, how they are doing that and how I have to interpret the pattern. Okay, whether I like the pattern or I'm not understanding the pattern or I understood the pattern, after understanding the pattern, how I'm interfering this pattern. Okay, so all these things become very, very essential. So so as I told you, listening is a part of receiving the information what's being sent by the sender. It needs to be powerful, purposeful, and productive. Okay, in order to complete a in order to complete a successful communication process, the listener should also put in a lot of efforts, and he has to ensure these three qualities are imbibed in him. This technique requires a lot of practice and patience, as listening is not easy. Okay, you have to concentrate and you have to try to understand what the other person is trying to tell. Only when you try to do this concept, it will become easier for you to understand what the other person is saying. Outline profile of four basic communication skills. So in this, we are going to understand what are the basic skills required for communication skills. That is, listening is not to be confused with hearing. Hearing is a psychological process which involves receiving the sound waves by the eardrums and transferring them to the brain. It is an involuntary act that happens automatically. So let's say we are in a classroom and we hear a noise on the street. That's a bike is moving, or a car is moving, or a vendor is selling something. Okay, so we hear certain things. Okay, where we are not paying certain amount of concentration. Might be a dog is barking. Okay, we just hear it, but we don't concentrate or understand the pattern or interpret why it is barking or why that particular noise is being made by a motorcycle. Okay, you're not gonna interpret anything. Okay, the sound just falls here and it just goes into my brain, and I interpret and say, okay, it's a dog bark, it's a vehicle movement, or it's a vendor, okay, selling something. So any other noise that falls into my ear where I don't put a lot of concentration or interpretation in that particular noise, then it will be called as hearing. But listening is entirely different from hearing. Okay, so hearing is a basic concept where every noise that falls into my ear will be called as hearing, but listening involves a greater amount of efforts put from your end. It requires focus and concentrated efforts, both mentally and sometimes physically as well. So, what happens mentally and physically? Why they are telling two concepts? Mentally is what is being listened by you has to be interpreted, analyzed, and understood by you. The next physically is the non-verbal communication, what you express, that is the nodding of your body or you staying connected, or having an eye contact with the person who's explaining, or having a good body language where you're not disturbed by your sitting postures or by somebody around you. Okay, just like if you're watching a movie, how you want it, you have to be peaceful and concentrate and watch. The same things is what is being expected in terms of listening as well. Okay, then this is a process of interpretation and inference. So, as we told you, interpretation is understanding what is happening, and inference is coming to a judgment. Okay, so when a case is being presented to you, let's say a lawyer movie or something. Okay, when a lawyer movie is being presented, what all he is explaining as facts will be my interpretation. Okay, oh yeah, it's a good movie, yeah, it's a thriller movie, but at the end, the climax, whatever comes, that will be called as an inference. Inference is the judgment what I come at the end. Okay, so there are two concepts here in listening, that is, one is interpretation, the final one is inference, that is my final judgment. In other words, it means being aware of both verbal and non-verbal messages, how a sender is trying to send it, what is his verbal way of communication, and the second way is how he's presenting the information. Both of these concepts will play a very important role in listening. Research shows that effective communication involves 50% more listening than speaking. So, in order to be effective in a communication process, the listener has to be more attentive than the speaker. Okay, so when the speaker, how much ever efforts they put in, if the listener is getting lost in between, then it will be definitely a loss for the listener. Okay, for this perspective, what they have told, it would be very important for a listener to be attentive. Without the ability to listen effectively, messages are easily being misunderstood. So, kindly understand that what is being told in the right sense in the way they are explaining. Okay, if you don't understand it, then there is an easy chance of being misinterpreted or misunderstanding the information what is being sent by the sender. In fact, the listener The skill of listening is intimately related to the skill of speaking. So, how efficient the speaker has to be, similarly efficient a listener also has to be. So, there is an equal effort put by both the sender and the receiver. Listening is not a passive process. So I can't do three, four things and say I'm listening to certain things. Okay, listening is an active process. So you have to be involved from the beginning till the end. What is being told to you might be in between. You won't understand one or two concepts. That's okay. You can note it down and ask the speaker at the end what is the explanation for that. But if you're stuck with those two concepts and don't listen to the rest of the concept, who is going to be at loss? It's you, the listener. Okay, it's not the speaker. So if you want to be a good listener, kindly ensure that you're not being stuck or stopped at a particular concept and become a passive listener for the rest of the speech. Okay, be attentive throughout the speech. Wherever you have found a problem, just make a note and from there keep going on with the speaker. Okay, don't stop your attention. The phrase active listening is used to describe this process of being fully involved. To be an effective listener, one has to be completely involved in the process of in the communication process and fully present during the entire speech what is being given by the speaker. Okay, your fully means physically, mentally, emotionally, and psychologically present and alive. Okay, so they are telling in order to be an active speaker who is fully engaged in the listening process, you have to be physically, mentally, psychologically, and emotionally be present through the entire speech what is being given by the speaker. Okay, then we understand the concept of the purpose of listening. So here they have given certain concepts where they are told what are the importance of listening. Okay, that is the purpose of listening is to specify to specifically focus on the messages being communicated, avoid distractions and preconceptions. That is, when a message is being told to you, listen to it as though it is being provided to you in the first instance. Okay, don't get distracted by the earlier information what you know or by the preconceptions what you have. Preconceptions are idea about that particular topic. Okay, you might have heard or read or watched some information. So don't get carried away by the topic what you already know. So kindly pay attention to the information what is being shared at the first and foremost reason, and then after that you can tell them what you didn't understand. Okay, it will be effective. Then to gain a full and accurate understanding into the speaker's point of view and ideas, might be you would have had certain ideas. Okay, but once the speaker started speaking, if you listen to them, your interpretation can also be changed. You can understand the concept more clearly. Might be the speaker is a person who has researched in that particular area or made more efforts. Okay, they have made certain interactions and they are much more clear in that topic. Okay, if that is the case, it becomes easier for you if you pay attention and understand what is being explained to you. Okay, to critically assess what is being said, so continuously stand in a position where you assess the information what is being given to you. Okay, is this connecting, is the information really productive? How can I connect this information? Am I making use of this? Okay, that becomes very, very important in critical assessment. Then to observe the non-verbal signals accompanying what is being said to enhance understanding. So the next thing is non-verbal communication also plays an important role. So every time if you see a couple of speakers will motivate us a lot. Okay, might be your teachers or a particular speaker or a particular news reader, you would always like them. Why? Not because of just the speech what they give, but also the way they communicate or the way they use non-verbal communication. Okay, so all these concepts might attract you to be to have a positive impact to listen to that speaker. Okay, so always try to listen what the non-verbal communication is being said. Then show interest, concern, and concentration. So, whatever information is being shown, like expressed to you, kindly have empathy and sympathy and listen properly what is being told by them. Okay, so pay attention, interest, and be concentrative in what is being explained by the speaker. To encourage the speaker to communicate fully, openly, and honestly. So, be a good listener who will encourage the speaker to open up and explain the concepts, not a person who is continuously annoying them or trying to put them down or being judgmental and showing up as though you have more knowledge and trying to put somebody down. Okay, so be a person who is supportive to help the speaker to speak better. Then, to develop a selflessness approach, putting the speaker first. So always understand, if somebody is explaining you a concept, give them an opportunity and help them to explain the concept properly to you. Don't put them down or oppress them. So kindly give them an opportunity and help them to express the information. Okay, to arrive at a shared and agreed understanding and acceptance of both side views. So when the speaker has completed the speaking, you can ask for any doubts or clarification or any misunderstandings what you had. You can express your inputs, and after the inputs are being expressed, you can come for a final understanding or a final point where both of you are being convinced. Okay, so this is more important in terms of purpose of listening or purposeful listening. Okay, then here they also say that we should try to focus on what is being said and how it is being said in order to understand the speaker. Okay, each speaker will have a different style, just like your I would easily relate this to movies, because that's the way a concept is being expressed. Okay, the same movie can be shown by different directors, but the way each director explains it will be a different way. It's the same way each person who is speaking. Okay, like your faculties in college, each person will take one subject. Even if you're not interested in the subject, the way a person explains those concepts, you would be interested in understanding these concepts. Okay, you will like the speaker. So each person will have their own style and efficiency in expressing these concepts. Okay, so kindly understand that also and try to stay connected with the speaker. Then here they're explaining again what is the difference between listening and hearing. Okay, so listening is the ability to accurately receive and interpret messages in the communication process. Listening is the key to effective communication. So messages are easily misunderstood if you don't listen properly, and if you are frustrated or irritated, then there is an easy chance of getting lost. So what here they are telling us, listening is not just hearing something, but you should have the ability to accurately understand what is being told. After that, internally you have to interpret the information what you have received. Okay, that is called as listening. It is an effective process in communication, and when information, there is an easy chance, if you don't listen properly, that the information can be misunderstood. Okay, if the information is being misunderstood, what happens, you will be frustrated or irritated because you have given your time, but you have not gained any information from that. Okay, you might blame the speaker, but the speaker is not responsible, because there'll be hundreds of listeners in the audience group, but most of the people would have understood. Let's say 85% or 90% of the people would have understood. Why you didn't understand? Because you didn't put in the efforts. Okay, that's what I told you. You might be stuck with one particular concept or one particular term or one particular process or step what they explain. Okay, you didn't go forward with that. That's the reason why most of the people get lost in the process of communication when certain things, like in our school we never liked certain subjects. Why? Because we didn't understand after that what happens, like generally maths or science. Okay, chemistry, we don't understand after this how to go to the next concept, how the next concept came or the next formula came, or how they broke that particular problem. Okay, broke it down into a solution. So we were getting lost. Why? Because we didn't understand the concept. After that, what happened, we lost interest in that particular subject, and we, whenever that particular faculty or the subject is being taught, we got into a concept of frustration. Okay, like we don't like that subject, I don't want to study that. Okay, so these are the things which develops if you are not an active listener. Then what is the difference if I'm just hearing the information? Hearing refers to the sound that enters your ears. I've told you already, hearing is not uh, paying attention to what is being told. It is mere information or a noise that enters into your ear. Okay, listening means paying attention not only to the story but how it is being narrated or told to you. Okay, the language which is being used and the voice tones or the voice modulation, how a person is expressing the information, and how the other people use his or her body language. That is, I'm being happy, I'm being sad, I express my emotions, I become dull, I become sad, or I become happy, I start smiling when a particular person is speaking. Might be it's a jovial concert or something. Okay, so it is all very important. When you become an active listener only, you will get all these information. Okay, if you are just hearing to information, it will not be helpful. Then the listener can and should be at least engaged in the process as the speaker. So when a listener to be an active listener, what is important? When a speaker is saying something, be actively involved and understand what is the concept that they are explaining. Even though the previous concepts you didn't understand, might be from here you might start understanding at least 20-30%. Okay, might be just like you went to a movie, you came after like it's a 3 hour movie, you came after 45 minutes, but still once you get into the movie, if you pay attention for the rest 2 hours 15 minutes, you will understand what would have happened in the first. Okay, at least a basic understanding you will get. The same concept happens even to any speaker. Okay, so if you enter into a speech and if you are in the middle somewhere lost, if you put in your efforts, you will still understand what is being told in that particular session or particular communication process. Okay, listening is different from hearing because hearing is basically a physical activity. It doesn't require any efforts of interpretation. Hence, it is called as a physical activity. Okay. So after this, we are going to start with types of listening skills. So what are the different types of skills that is being required in order to put in your efforts? Okay. Then listening skills. What happens in listening skills? There are different types of listeners. Might be you or I can be different types of listeners. So what happens for a particular? I'll just relate this with your college. Okay, it's easier. School or college. So we would like a particular speaker. Okay, for that particular speaker, I will be an active and efficient listener. Okay, then I like another particular teacher. I feel, oh, sorry, how she is. Might be she's an handicap or something like that. Okay, so we have certain amount of sympathy. Okay, for that perspective, we listen to them. Or might be our classmates or friends who are not a good English speaker, they go and make a presentation for the very first time. When they do that, what we do, we listen to them out of empathy. That is, we have a sympathy that they don't know English. And the second one is I'm emotionally connected to them. Okay, because she is my friend or he is my friend. Okay, for that perspective, I become an empathetic listener. Okay, then there'll be certain people who will be judging a competition. They will be listening. Like a music competition or something, they will be listening just because they have to judge. Okay, or they can be critical judgments, like what happens in criminal cases or any case which is being heard in the court. Okay, there the lawyer will present certain information, the judge will listen it with the perspective of critically analyzing the information what is being explained by them. So that is called as critical listening. Okay, I'll explain you each concept, but these are the different types of listening skills which is being required by a person. Okay, so it differs from sender to sender. Our mood of being which listener depends. Okay, so I can, if I'm well connected with the listener, I can be a active sorry, if I'm well connected with the speaker, I can be an active listener. If I'm not so well connected with the listener, then I can be a comprehensive listener or a passive listener. Or if I'm not happy with them, or they are not my friend, or always I want to discriminate them, or they have discriminated me, I want to show it back or something, I can be a discriminative listener. Okay, so all these things differs. Okay, I can have multiple skills of listening. It depends on the speaker as well. So now we start understanding what are these categories of listening. The first one is discriminative listening. So what happens here? Discriminative listening is the most basic type of listening whereby difference between different sounds is identified. If you cannot hear differences, then you cannot make sense of the meaning that is being expressed by such differences. We learn to discriminate between sounds within our own language early, and later are unable to discriminate between the phone means of other languages. This is one reason why a person from one country finds it difficult to speak another language perfectly, as they are unable to distinguish the subtle sounds that are required in that language. So, what is discriminative listening? So, uh, if I understand Hindi very well, okay, so what happens if somebody unknown, like a person who doesn't know Hindi or a person who doesn't know Marathi or Malayalam, okay, for example, so if somebody comes and speaks that particular language, and if I am a fluent speaker, and if I identify any faults, I easily tell it across. Okay, so that's called as discriminative listening, where I'm listening to that person attentively in order to understand what are the mistakes that he's making in that particular language. Okay, but why I don't pay the same attention in speaking a new language might be I wouldn't know Bengali, okay, or I wouldn't know Punjabi. So I don't want to talk that language. Why? Because I'm sure the same interpretation, what I do for a person who doesn't know my language, the same will be done by another person. Okay, there are chances. So that's the reason why we stop avoiding a new speaking a new language, because we know there will be people who will be discriminative listeners, okay, who will tell this is a particular fault in what you're speaking, or the way you're using the grammar in that particular language, or he and she, when I have to call a person he or this person she, okay, I would be making a mistake, okay. For this perspective, discriminative listening will come into picture. Then we have comprehension listening. The next step beyond discriminating between different sounds and sights is to make sense of them. To comprehend the meaning requires first having a lexicon of words at our fingertips, and also all rules of grammar and syntax by which we can understand what others are saying. The same is true, of course, for the visual components of communication, and an understanding of body language helps us understand what the other person is really meaning. So here, what is going to happen is, sorry. So here, what is going to happen is, once I know that person knows my language and explaining it properly, the next thing what I do is I start understanding what they are explaining, whether they are explaining the concept properly, the language what they are using, the grammar, the usage, the pronunciation, everything is proper or not. Okay, so the word lexicon means the vocabulary. For the word simple, I'll have different words: easy, understandable. Okay, like this, synonyms, antonyms, what I use, that will be called as a good vocabulary of words in my fingertips, and I know all the grammars, syntax, everything. Okay, the same is true, of course, for the visual concepts of communication, and an understanding of the body language helps us understand what the other person is really meaning. So, what happens in comprehensive listening? Once I know that the person is explaining things in a better way, okay, his language is proper, his grammar is proper, he's speaking the language properly, then I will start understanding what he is explaining. Okay, that's my second step. And then I will start observing what is their body language, how they are explaining, is it being attractive, the information what he's saying is being attentive. Okay, if I can I pay attention, am I attracted to the speaker, okay, in order to listen. All these things will become very important. Then comprehension listening is also known as content listening, informative listening, and full listening. Okay, so this is something where I'm paying attention, I'm listening to the entire concept, what is being explained. I have gained the information, what is being told, and I have listened to the entire concept. Whether I've interpreted or not is left to another thing, but I have heard the concept. Okay, this is called as comprehension listening. Then you have critical listening. As I told you, let's say a Supreme Court judge or a High Court judge or a tribunal judge, okay, if they are analyzing any information and interpreting any information that is critical to give a judgment, okay, then it will be called as critical listening. Critical listening is listening in order to evaluate and judge, forming opinion about what is being said. Judgment includes assessing strengths and weaknesses, agreement and approval. Okay, so here we are not just listening to the information, we are understanding what is forming the opinion for coming to a final analysis or final judgment. And this judgment includes assessing the strengths and weaknesses of the speaker along with the approval, whether I agree and give you a positive judgment or whether I'm not agreeing and giving you an rejection. Okay, so this is where critical judgment comes into picture. This this form of listening requires significant real time cognitive effort as the listener analyzes what is being said, relating it to existing knowledge and rules, whilst simultaneously listening to the ongoing words of the speaker. So when the speaker is listening, so if I'm a judge or a person who's Supreme Court judge or any tribunal judges or opposition lawyer, okay, so all these people, what they will do, they will listen to all the information what is being said. Internally they will connect whether what he's telling is connecting to the sections what he is speaking. Okay, we have a set of rules and regulations, that is we have criminal law, we have civil law, we have different laws. So whether what he is speaking, the points what he is making, are they relating to the legal points? Okay, this is very very important. For this perspective, when a speaker is speaking, the listener will be very attentive in analyzing all these things and then making an effort to interpret with the knowledge what he has already gained or interpreting with the rules. Okay, so once he has completed, the opposition lawyer can come up and say, no, these points what you told will not go along with the law, or this is against the law. And they can get it to the knowledge of the judge, or judge can interpret it and tell, see, what you argued is not proper. Okay, so all these things can happen in terms of critical listening. Then, okay, then after this, we have biased listening. So what is biased listening? Biased listening happens when the person hears only what they want to hear, typically misinterpreting. So this is basically what happens. They don't listen to what is being told now. Okay, they will listen to one word or two sentences or two paragraphs, or might be the speech is for 1 hour. They might listen only for 5 minutes or 10 minutes on a particular concept, and later they will start interpreting the information. Why they start interpreting the information? Because they want to make a judgment, okay, or pass a comment or tell this particular person made a mistake in speaking this particular information, or they didn't present this information properly, or they want to misinterpret what the information is being told. So the audience at large don't accept to the information what is being told. Okay, when I'm being critical in identifying only the information to point out the mistake of the speaker, then I'm being a biased listener. Then you have evaluating listening. So here what happens, this is what I told you. If I have to evaluate uh, a singing competition or a debate competition or any speech that's happening. Okay, so if we have to evaluate any of these things, if you want to evaluate any of these things, then I will be called as an evaluating listener. Just because to evaluate and give a prize or any award or something, for this perspective, I will start listening to the information what is being told to me. Then I become an evaluative listener. In evaluating listening or critical listening, we make judgment about what the other person is saying. We seek to assess the truth of what is being said. We also judge what they say against our values, assessing them as good or bad, worthy or unworthy. Okay, so it can be a debate competition, or it can be a speech competition, or it can be let's say environmental issues. Okay, somebody is going to come and talk about carbon footprints or carbon credit points. So all these concepts when they are saying, I'm going to listen to all the information, and then we have to analyze whether is it practically applicable, whether it is true, whether it is false. Okay, we analyze all these things, and based on that we will judge whether it is good, bad, worthy, unworthy, all these things, and based on that we will give a judgment. So here they call it evaluating and critical listening is similar because both of these things will involve a certain amount of judgment. Okay. Typically, also we weigh up the pros and cons of an argument, determining whether it makes sense logically as well as whether it is helpful to us. Okay, so let's say it is a debate competition, then logically we will start questioning both the parties and understand what is the difference. Okay, evaluative listening is also called critical, judgmental, and interpretive listening. So evaluating listening will fall under all these three categories. So I have to be an evaluating listener even if I'm a critical listener. So if I'm a judge also, I have to think from an evaluative perspective and also from a critical perspective. If I'm a judgmental listener, that is, I'm passing a judgment with that perspective. If I'm listening, even then I have to evaluate the information and only then I have to pass a judgment. So if I'm an interpretive listener, that is, I have to interpret the information. So I'm an opposite lawyer. Okay, I have to interpret the information what is being told by another person. So for that I have to first evaluate what all information he has told. I have to interpret all the information and then provide my reverse argument. Okay, for this perspective, evaluating listening can also be called as critical, judgmental, and interpretive listening. Okay, then the concept what comes into picture is appreciative listening. So what happens in appreciative listening? In appreciative listening, we seek certain information which will appreciate, for example, that what helps meet our needs and goals. So what happens in appreciative listening is, let's say you are being provided like CSEET class. Okay, so here what happens, we are providing you certain knowledge. Okay, the knowledge is being provided with a understanding that this is being provided, so if you gain this information properly, then it will be easier for you to clear these exams. Okay, so exam clearing or understanding the concepts in a better way. If you have any doubts, you can clarify all those doubts, and the way how you have to study, how it has to be interpreted, all these things will be told to you. So here what is happening, you are listening to the concept with a pre what is your goal, clearing your CSET. Okay, or you have a need that you have to clear this with certain amount of marks. For that perspective, you are listening to all the information what is being told in all the subjects. Okay, that's called as appreciative listening. Then you have sympathetic listening. Here sympathetic listening is we care about the other person and show this concern in a way we pay close attention and express our sorrow for their ill and happiness at their joys. Okay, at their joys. So here what happens is, here I'm not just listening to that person because I'm happy listening to them. Might be they might have a physical illness, or they might not be well, or emotionally they might be going through some particular difficulties. Okay, so when all these things happen, it becomes important for me. When I know that they are going through some pain, I start listening to them. Okay, I will start showing them certain amount of sympathy, and I will listen to them because none of the other people will be knowing what he's going through. Okay, when a certain set of people listen just because of showing sympathy to that particular listener, then it will be called as sympathetic listening. Okay, whether the content what they provide is good, bad, ugly, we don't go by that. We just go by the concept that we are showing certain sympathy. For that perspective, we are going to listen to them. Okay, then you have empathetic listening. So what happens in empathetic listening? uh, when we listen empathetically, we go beyond sympathy to seek a truer understanding how others are feeling. This requires excellent discrimination and close attention to the nuances of emotional signals. When we are being truly empathetic, we actually feel what they are saying, what they are feeling. Okay, so in terms of empathy, we go one level beyond sympathy and we try to show our concern in a much better and an effective way. When I start showing this concern in a much better and an effective way, they will feel more connected in my concepts, and the other person who is explaining, okay, I will show certain amount of more interest in, not only because he has certain emotional backup or low profile, but here I'm also paying attention to what is being told. Okay, I start connecting to the information what is being told. Then I go beyond sympathy and I become an empathetical listener. Then you have therapeutic listener. So what is a therapeutic listener? Therapeutic listening is just like how we have these psychiatrists, okay, or psychologists who will give us a therapeutic melodious songs or something to listen. Why? Because they know that music or music can calm down your mind, or certain kinds of speeches can really help us get out of that particular mood. Might be we are very sad, we are, or we have gone through some loss. Okay, so when all these things happen, there will be certain amount of motivational speakers. Okay, when we listen to them, it is a therapy where I'm trying to heal. Okay, this is called as therapeutic listening. In therapeutic listening, the listener has a purpose of not only sympathizing with the speaker, but also to use this deep connection in order to help the speaker understand, change, or develop in some way. Okay, that is, they motivate them in order to become a better person. So that is the motive of a speaker. So listener will start listening to this and it will become easier for them. This also happens in work situations where managers, trainers, and coaches seek to help employees learn and develop. Might be they are not showing proper interest, or somewhere they are getting lost, or something like this happens. Then it becomes easy for the whoever, like a manager or teacher or coaches, whoever are being involved. They will help you in order to regain that confidence and get back to proper normal situation. Okay, this is basically motivating you to be a better person. So speaker is being a motivational speaker. Then the listening what you put across will be called as a therapeutic speaking listening. Okay, then you have dialogic listening. Okay, in dialogic listening, what happens is dialogic listening stems from a Greek word dia, meaning through, and logos, meaning words. So expressing certain things with the help or through words is called as dialogic speaking. Dialogic speaking Sorry. Thus, dialogic listening means learning through conversations and an engaged interaction of ideas and information in which we actively seek to learn more about persons and how they think. Dialogic listening is sometimes known as relational listening. So, here what is happening? Here, certain people are expressing their thoughts. Okay, there is a speaker who is expressing his thoughts or ideas, and we are having a not just a speaking process, but we are having a conversation. Okay, we exchange ideas, information. Okay, and we become active seeker. What is an active seeker? I want to learn more about this information, so I make the speaker speak more. That is, I ask them doubts, I ask them for clarification. When I do all these things, the speaker will give me more information. If I get more information, what will happen? I am trying to connect with them more. Okay, like it can be a faculty, or it can be a person who came to give a speech in your college or something like that. Okay, who has come down, but you're trying to make a relationship with them by dialogic speaking. Dialogue is dialogic speaking, where I am giving certain information, they are giving me certain information. The information what they are giving to me is being more informative for me. Okay, I'm gaining certain amount of knowledge, or my knowledge is increasing, or it is being more very much or more informative. Then I go into a concept called as dialogic listening. Okay, then you have relationship listening. So sometimes the most important factor in listening is in order to develop or sustain a relationship. So this happens with your parents, siblings, friends. Okay, we listen to them just because we want to retain the relationship. This also happens in business world, where salesman, marketing person, okay, they all get into the concept of sales, negotiations, and all these things. Why? Because they want to build a relationship with their customers. So customers, once they trust the sales manager or the sales representative, they will purchase the product. For this perspective, they try to build up a relationship, and this is called as relationship listening, where I'm listening to the concerns of the other person, what they want to tell, or what they are trying to explain. Okay, when I listen to all these concepts, it will be called as relationship listening. Then you have selective listening. This is more negative type of listening. It implies that the listener is someone biased to what they are hearing. Bias can be based on preconceived idea or emotionally difficult communication. So selective listening is, as I told you, they might be expressing a lot of information. Okay, they might you might have a one-day seminar. In this one-day seminar, what happens? In this one-day seminar, there might be a one-day seminar. In this one-day seminar, they might speak about lots of concepts. Might be good health, emotional stability, and mm, might be physical health, education, importance of higher education. Okay, you might have a seminar in your college for the entire day. In this, what happens? Whatever you are interested, only those concepts you will pay. You will select those concepts, and you will listen only to those concepts. You will not listen to other concepts. Okay, which is being expressed to you. This happens when you're selecting the headings and listening only to the concepts which is interesting you or which you are liking. Okay, if it goes into this concept, then it will be called as selective listening. Selective listening is always very difficult because you're not paying attention to the other concepts. When you don't pay attention to the other concepts, then it becomes very difficult for you to for you to gain the entire information. Okay, so kindly don't get into to this concept of selective listening. Pay attention to every information that is being passed on to you. Then it will be more effective for you to be more productive in the work efforts or exam results. Whatever you give it across, it will be more productive. Okay, for that, kindly try to be not a selective listener. Then you have the final one, that is active and effective listening. So after doing all these things, we understand what is active and effective listening. Okay, both are interchangeably used, but how they pay, like if you have to be an active and effective listener, what are the qualities that you require? Okay, active listening occurs when the listener attempts to understand as clearly as possible what the speaker says. Effective listening is attempting to understand the perspective of the speaker and empathize, not sympathize with him or her. Okay, active and effective listening are combined and subsumed under listening. They both are combined and made into one. Combining both makes good sense for one reason: a person cannot separate one from another. Okay, so what happens in active listener? Active listener means I'm clearly understanding what the speaker is telling. All the concepts, what they explain, I'm understanding all the concepts, and based on that, I become an active listener. Then I become an effective listener. So, what happens in an effective listener? I'm not just taking the information what they are telling, but the way they are telling. That is the body language, the language what they used, the vocabulary, the presentation skills. Okay, so with all these things I am empathizing with them. So empathizing is getting attracted with them. Sympathize is having a sorrow, but empathize is having a positive influence and getting attracted to a speaker. Okay, when I get attracted to a speaker, then I'm going to become an effective listener. Okay, because I like the way they present the information, hence I am being empathized by their speaking. Sympathize is being sorry for them and you're listening because, oh, I'm sorry for them, let me listen. Okay, but here you are empathizing because you are attracted by the way they present the information. Okay, that's called as effective listening. So active and effective listening are combined as one, and they are presented as one information. Okay, that is one way of listening. Okay, they have not just made it as two different ways, they have made it as one particular way, and they are presenting the information. Okay, then you have the next concept, that is different types of listeners. Okay, who are the different types of listeners? So the types of listeners can be divided as active listener, passive listener, non-listener, marginal listener, evaluative listener. Okay, the previous concept what we understood was different types of listening. Okay, in listening, what are the different types? but now we are understanding what are the different types of listeners. Okay, the first one we are going to evaluate and understand, that is active listener. So what is active listener? As the term implies, active listener involves themselves actively in the communication process by keenly listening not only to the message but also the way it has been delivered. So I told you, if I'm an active listener, I just don't get involved into the information what is being told. I also become an effective listener. I will understand the way it is being delivered, the message content it is being delivered, the way the speech is being provided, the modulation in the voice, how it is being done, and the grammar, the vocabulary what is being used. Okay, so all these things will become important when I am an active listener. Here, if I'm an active listener, I will focus on the content as well as the manner in which it is being delivered. Okay, then I will take a note of the verbal content along with its non-verbal subtext. So I'm going to concentrate how a person is presenting the speech, how is their verbal content. That is the way they speak and the way they present all these things I can understand. And after that, I will also understand the non-verbal subtext like the communication skill, the presentation skills, their body language, the way they express or the way they use their hands in presentation. Okay, all these things will be understood by me. Okay, and after that, not hesitate to seek any clarification, ask leading questions, show their approval by nodding head, and summarize to clearly indicate that they have fully followed the speaker. Okay, so here I will seek clarification. If I'm not understood any particular concept, I will ask in particular what I have not understood. Then I will ask the leading question. Okay, so if nobody is asking for any questions, I will ask them for questions. And after that, I will show my approval by nodding my head and all these things. And after this, finally, I will summarize and I will summarize in my brain, and whatever information is being presented by the speaker, I will grasp the entire information. Okay, this is quite sensitive towards the feeling, so I have to be quite sensitive towards how I feel. Okay, I have to feel positive. I shouldn't feel low. I shouldn't feel lost. Okay, I should also have a positive impact and understand the mood of the audience. So, in order to become an active listener, only I shouldn't be actively engaged. I also have to see whether other people are understanding or not. Okay, if they are not understanding, I should ask questions in such a way so other people are also being benefited. Okay, I shouldn't ask out of the topic or something that's very highly effective or something like this, which I personally want to know. If that is the case, I can go meet the speaker separately after the speech is being completed and ask them for the information. Okay, then I show empathy. That's what I told you. I won't be a sympathetic person. I will be empathetic person where I'm being positively attracted towards that person to learn more information. The message sent will be received correctly and feedback is given in a favorable manner. So when I am a active listener, the message what is being sent across by the sender will be gained by me in the proper way, and there I will give them a proper and a favorable feedback. Okay, when I do this, the sender also will be happy that I have understood all the information in the way he tried to present. Okay, this is a win-win situation. Why? Because the sender has given certain information, the entire information, and the receiver has accepted all the information in the way what they wanted. Okay, if this is the case, it is a win-win situation for both the people. Okay, with this perspective, we say that active listeners are always a win-win situation for both the speakers as well as the listeners. Okay, then you have passive listeners. So who are these passive listeners? Passive listeners exhibit, just a minute. Okay, passive listeners exhibit exactly the opposite behavior traits of an active listener. Okay, so whatever we explained about active listener, these people are exactly the opposite. So what happens here? Partial, what these people do? Partial message and lack sensitivity to the nuances, inner meaning, non-verbal subtext. So here what is going to happen is they are not going to listen to the entire 100% of the information. Partially they will listen to the information. It can be 30%, 50%, or 70%. Okay, they're going to attract only partial information. Then after that, they will not have sensitivity towards the speaker. That is, they will not have empathy towards the speaker. Just because they have to listen or be present, they're going to be present there, and they will not pay any attention to the nuances, that is the way it is being presented, the vocal chords, or the way like the voice modulations, what I meant. Then after that, the actual meaning of the content what is being provided, okay, the non-verbal interactions what they used. So all these things will not be included for a passive listener. Then someone to speak without interpreting or seeking clarification. So these are the people who we simply speak to. They will not ask any clarification, they will not speak, or they will not interpret. Okay, just because they had to be present, they will be present, and then they will leave. Do not make notes. These people will not make notes, and they do not nod their head in approval of the information what is being provided, or maintain a eye contact and keep themselves idle. So these are the people who will not give an eye contact to the speaker, and they will also be present just as an idle person. Okay, just because they have to be present, they will be present, but they will not show proper respect or interaction to the speaker. Okay, then they are being called as active listening. So here, listening is actually hearing, not listening. Okay, so we have explained you what is listening and hearing. Here, a passive listener is just hearing; he is not paying attention. Hence, he is just hearing; he is not being a listener. So the entire process is going to be futile and incomplete. So the process entirely at the end will be in vain. Okay, it's a loss because the speaker presented and put in so much of efforts, but the listener didn't listen. So the entire process is going to be a loss for the speaker. Okay, because he presented all the information, but the listener will not gain the value, and he will not realize what he has lost because he didn't pay attention first and foremost, and he didn't know the value of the information what is being provided to him. So hence it is a loss for the listener, but he will not realize that it is a loss. He will think, okay, I just spent my time because I had to listen, I listened. Okay, if the speaker has spoken and gone, that is his problem. But actual loss will be to the listener because he didn't listen to the information what is being provided to him. Okay, so it is a loss situation basically for a passive listener. Then you have non-listener. So what happens to a non-listener? Non-listeners do not listen at all because they are genuinely disinterested in the subject. So let's say we get a science student and we ask them to sit in a finance class or interpretation of financials, that is balance sheet and profit and loss account. What will happen? He will not be interested. Or we take a commerce student and we make them sit in the a certain biology class or chemistry class. Okay, so they will not understand anything, head or tail, so they will just be physically present. If that is the case, then it is called as non-listener. Okay, they pretend to follow the speaker. Actually, they are preoccupied with something else. So might be they will just look at the speaker, have an eye contact, and all those things. But internally, nothing will be going into their head. Okay, just to show some sympathy, they will be present there, but nothing they will be actually understanding out of the information what is being presented to them, and they will be preoccupied in their mind. So something else will be running in their mind, like a daydream or something. They will be running internally, but they will simply look at the speaker as though they are attentively listening. Okay, they are called as fake attentive listeners also. Okay, they don't pay actual attention, but they will be providing attention in a fake manner. Then recognized by their blank stare, impatient and nervousness mannerisms. So how we can identify these non-listeners? By their blank stare. Always simply they are listening, like staring at us without providing any non-verbal communication. Okay, like nodding their head or asking for any doubt or something, and they are always impatient, waiting for the class to end. Okay, and after that they have nervousness because they don't want to sit, they want to look into their mobile or scribble in their notepads or do something like that. Then they are called as non-listeners. Then they might be suffering from rigidity of thinking and egotism. That is, they don't want to think, predetermined. They are pretty predetermined that they don't want to listen to the information what is being told, and they are Egotism is they already feel, why I have to listen? I know all these things, what this particular speaker is speaking. Why I have to listen to them? I don't want to listen to them. Okay, I know all this information, and what she's teaching or what he is teaching is not informative, not something like a special thing. Okay, so when they have all these attitudes, then they fall into the category of non-listeners. Then they are insensitive and insensible nature. So first and foremost, they are insensitive to the information what is being told, and they are insensible. They don't have any sense to the information what is being shared. Then incapable of understanding others. Predetermined nature of a person will be they don't want to listen to another person, okay, or understand what the other person is saying. If this is a quality which they already have, then they become an non-listener. Then hear what the other person is saying. They are not paying attention to what the other person is saying, listening to it, but they are just hearing what the other person is saying. Okay, most of the talking, okay, they who will do most of the talking and will not let their subordinate easily express their ideas. So non-listeners are the people who will gain authority. They will keep repeatedly asking the same things or saying the same things just to distract the other crowd. Okay, but they are not understanding what other people really need or their subordinates really need. And they frequently interpret the session what's happening, okay, the speech where it is being provided, and they generally say, I have understood, I have understood, I have understood, or I know. Okay, they actually do not know anything or understood the subject. So these people are generally considered as non-listeners. then you have then you have marginal listeners. Marginal listeners are impatient to listen. They don't have the patience. They are always in a hurry and they want to get the information as early as possible. Okay. And they are superficially attentive. They are not attentive to all the concepts. Might be when the heading is being read out. Like, let's say, when I say marginal listener, you will pay attention, and after that, you will not pay attention into the in-depth information what is being told. Okay, for this perspective, when they pay attention only to the topmost or important lines or bullets what's being told, then they are called as marginal listeners, or superficial attention is being paid by the marginal listeners. Then interested only in the bottom line, so they are interested only in the climax. What will happen at the end? Okay, whether it is going to be an information which I can give an answer and gain marks, or should I sit and listen to all the information? Okay, they are just result oriented. What is going to happen at the end? Then hear the sounds of words but fail to grasp their meanings. So here they are going to hear the sound. Okay, they are not going to listen to the information. They are just going to hear, but they will fail to grasp the information because they are not listening. Not to go deeper level in arguments, they don't get into deeper argument level because they don't know in-depth information what is being shared. Then use external distractions to take it as an excuse. Sorry, I have a meeting, I have a important work right now, I got to leave, or something like that. They'll be marginal listeners. Then they don't have patience to sit through complex technical presentations and jump to findings and conclusions. Before they come to the result, they will, in between, they will be interacting and interpreting and doing all these things because they are marginal listeners. Okay, they don't wait for the entire concepts to be explained and then come out with doubts. Okay, in between, they will just keep interpreting the class or interpreting the session, the presentation what's being provided. Then they will be called as marginal listeners. Risky to communicate with marginal listeners. Why it is risky to communicate? Because they always try to be interacting or interpreting or misleading or getting back to certain previously thought information. Okay, they keep changing this concept. Hence what happens, it becomes difficult for the presenter. Why? Because the presenter will have certain constraints, like time limits, information to be shared, the content to be completed. Okay, like this, they would have been given certain restrictions. When the speaker has to abide by all these restrictions, it becomes difficult when they are catering to the needs of these marginal listeners. Then you have evaluative listeners. So who are evaluative listeners? As I told you before, people who will provide judgment or critical judgments or critical listening, evaluating listening and judgmental listening. Okay, when people fall under any of these categories, they will be called as evaluative listeners. They literally assess the verbal content on the basis of the words, not paralingual or non-verbal cues. Okay, use logic to understand the content what is being told by the speaker, and do not show empathy or sensitivity to the speaker. Okay, they are prejudiced or and judgmental. So these people, they'll not have empathy or sympathy or anything. They will just listen to the information what you have told very clearly. Okay, if they want any clarification, they will ask you for the clarification. They will not just be impressed by your non-verbal presentation. Okay, they will listen to all the information. Once they are really comfortable with that information what they have presented, only then they will go ahead and evaluate the information what is being provided by you. So these people are called as evaluative listeners. So what are the important characteristics of an active listener? Just a minute. Yeah, the active listener will have to have an active listener is serious about the whole process of communication. Okay, entire process he will be involved. He will pay attention to speaker stance, that is what the speaker is presenting, perspective, point of view, bias, and prejudice. So all these things he will pay attention, and he will be involved in the interaction, and expends maximum energy to have full comprehension of the subject matter. He will have an eye contact, receptive body language, and appropriate facial expressions and non-verbal affirmations. Okay, speaker feels delivering the message, so he is going to create a positive impact or a positive environment where the speaker will feel comfortable in the information what is being shared by the information what is being shared by him. Okay, for this perspective, active listener has to have all these characteristics. Then we will get into the next concept. What are the barriers to an active listener? So we understood what are the characteristics active listener should have. After that, we are understanding what are the barriers that he's going to face. So the barriers are going to start with inadequate language base. So there can be a problem where the person is not understanding the language properly. That is sufficient language background of understanding English very well. Might be if we are a basic speaker, you will understand. If we are speaking something about technical terms, you will not understand. Okay, he has a weak language proficiency, lack of technical vocabulary, combined with fear and shyness. Okay, if all these things, if an active listener has, then it is a barrier for him. Then he is a partial listening, that is he is multitasking and allows themselves to be distracted easily, talking over phone, or habituated to flip through a book when a person is speaking, or surf through the internet. Okay, their mind is involved in too many things, then they are distracted. Okay, so hence partial listening is they are not paying full attention to the speaker. Okay, parallelly they are doing so many things, then it becomes then they fall into the category of partial listening. Disinterested, lack of interest, and they don't pay complete attention to the information what is being told. So when they have distracted, and following by that, they are not interested in that particular subject. As I told you, you might not be interested in chemistry or physics or maths or particular subject. Okay, if you have a basic lack of interest in that particular subject, then you will fall into the this category where you are disinterested basically on that particular subject, and hence you can't be an active listener. Then prejudging the speaker and the speech. So they have a biased opinion about the speaker, or this particular speaker is like this, they don't get into this particular information, I don't like the way they present the information, not very attractive. Okay, because they are not providing it in an attractive way, I don't like this particular subject. Okay, so these things will be important. Here they might also look into the speaker's looks, dress, and mannerism, that is their non-verbal communication, how they present the information. They look into all these things, and after that, one's own gender and color preferences can also be a way in which you prejudge a speaker. Okay, so certain people will have this concept where racism comes into picture, and if they are not of that particular race or language or region or background, they don't try to accept them as one among them, to learn information from them. Okay, if this is a concept, then prejudging the speaker can also be a barrier for you from being a active listener. Then negativity towards the speaker. The speaker, this is a major cause where the speaker has trying a lot of efforts to explain you, but the listener, there is a poor understanding skill for you, and a listener's emotion, mental and psychological mindset, that a preset mindset you have. Okay, you don't want to listen to a particular person, or you don't want to ask about this particular doubts, or you will be in a preconception that this person will not be knowing. Okay, so when you fall into any of these categories, then you will have a negativity, pre-built negativity towards the speaker. Okay, any dislikes for the speaker and disapproval to his or her likes. Okay, or distorted and negative messages if you have towards the speaker, and listener shows animosity, that is anger, negativity and all these things, and undermines the speaker's capability, that is you value the speaker in a lesser way. Okay, then and keeps disagreeing with the speaker's viewpoint, then it is a showing of negativity or negative behavior, and ridiculing, insulting and humiliating the speaker in public, then you fall into this category and you can't be a active listener. Then defendants. Here, defendants is you want to defeat the speaker. Okay, you have an attitude. Whatever the speaker says, you want to take out one point and put the speaker down, and underestimate their self capabilities, and decide in advance that they can't understand. So before the speaker comes and talks, only you will get into a pre-mind set where you will say, I can't understand this particular speaker. I'm not capable of understanding to this particular speaker, or I don't like that particular speaker, or whatever that speaker speaks, I'm trying to pick out one point and say, what is this, what is this, this is not properly explained, you didn't explain this, or you didn't point on this particular concept or subject, we didn't understand this particular topic. Okay, when you keep doing this, you're trying to be defendants, you're trying to show defendants, and this defendants can also become a threat where you can't be an active listener. Okay, so don't try to show defendants in in being an active listener. Then over enthusiasm or intolerance, that is from the beginning of the speech or till the end of the speech, you're being overly excited. When you try to be overly excited by providing intolerance, okay, you're not waiting or having that patience for that particular speaker to speak, and you're repeatedly asking for things, or being overactive and all these things, even then you can't be an active listener. So to be an active listener, you have to be in a neutral tone. You shouldn't be low, or you shouldn't be extremely high. So that is one more quality that plays an important role. That is, start supplying gaps in the speaker's idea. So you are trying to give gaps. See, you didn't explain this, you didn't explain this, what is this? If you try to keep doing that, you are trying to have intolerance. Then, out of impatience from the listener's side, who finds the speakers slow to communicate his or her idea. So because you are jumping around and questioning and doing certain things, you might feel that the speaker is being slow, or the speaker is not conveying their ideas in an exact or a complete way. Okay. Then you have deep rooted beliefs. So what happens with deep rooted beliefs? Here, the listener becomes a close minded person due to owns one's own deep rooted belief and convictions. Okay. Or culturally embedded beliefs and convictions become so strong and firmly rooted in one's mind and act as a barrier to new thoughts and fresh ideas. Might be if we speak to our parents, or if we speak to our grandparents, okay, and if we tell them, okay, there is some solar eclipse or lunar eclipse happening, but still it will not have an effect. Only thing is, we shouldn't go with the radiations. That this is the scientific research being shown. Okay, if you try to explain this to our elders or very elderly people, they will not agree. Why? Because how much of a scientific explanation you provide, their belief is so deeply rooted that they can't come out and believe certain things. Okay, so this can happen even to you when a particular concept is being explained, or a particular method in way they explain. Okay, this ways you wouldn't be familiar with. Okay, you would have been taught in a particular way, like a particular board and a chalk press. Okay, this is the way you're being taught. Might be you're not comfortable with the audio visual means of communication or learning things through online process. Might be this is the first time you're doing, so you find it very difficult, and you will always have this mindset, I'm not understanding, I don't like this method of teaching or something like this. If you find it as a barrier, then that is what is called as deep rooted belief. Okay, and this can become a barrier in terms of your mindset, and stops you from being an active listener. Okay, so there is one definition being given, that is, Robert Schuller says the mind is like a parachute, it functions only when it is open. Okay, so kindly keep your mind pretty open, and open to the information what's being provided by the speaker. Only then you can be an active listener. Then we come across with principles of effective listening. So what are the basic principles? You have to stop talking. Okay, don't talk a lot when a speaker is presenting certain information. Prepare yourself to listen to the information what is being provided. Okay, don't get distracted or interpreted by looking into your mobile or flipping through certain things and all these things. Prepare yourselves. Yes, I'm ready. For the next 1 hour, I'm going to listen. Okay, whatever information is being provided, I'm going to listen. Put the speaker at ease. Give the comfort to the speaker. Whoever is the speaker, give them the comfort to present the information first and foremost. If you provide them the comfort of presenting the information, then they will be happy enough to explain your doubts. Okay, so it becomes easier to present the information. Then you have remove distractions. So if you have any distractions like mobile or scribbling in the book or something which you are habituated to, kindly try to keep yourself away from that. Okay, remove all the distractions. Then you have empathetic. So what is sympathetic? I show some sympathy and just be try to be involved in that. But sympathy is where I am driven by the speaker. Okay, the speaker drives me by their presentation, their speech, their quality of speech, their body language, and all these things. I'm being attracted to the speaker, and because of that, I'm gaining a lot of information. That is being empathetic. Okay. The next one is be patient, be slow until the concept is being explained. Then avoid personal prejudice. Personal prejudices before the information is being presented. Don't go and give certain judgment. Okay. Don't be prejudgmental. Just wait until the speaker presents and presents the entire information. Listen to the tone. Tone is the way they present the information. There'll be a lot of vocabulary, there'll be a lot of voice modulations. Listen to all these things. It is very important. Listen for the ideas, not just words. The way they present the information or the ideas, thoughts will be different. Okay, from one person to another person. Kindly pay attention to those things. Then wait and watch for non-verbal communication as well. So they will have a particular style, particular method, the way they pass jovial comments. Okay, so all these things will fall into non-verbal communication. Pay attention to that also. Okay, so if you follow all these things, you can fall into a category of effective listening. Okay, so after this we get into barriers to effective listening. So what are the barriers that we fall into in case of effective listening? So one we saw was active listening. So this is effective listening. Okay. In effective listening, what happens? So I'll just go through here. Okay. These concepts. The first one is preconceived ideas and or being biased. So I have certain ideas or interpretation about the topic, what is being spoken. So based on this idea, I will have certain interpretation. So I'm not listening to the speaker. Okay. Or the entire information what is being provided by the speaker, because I'm preconceived with the information what I have. Then interrupting the speaker. So constantly I keep interrupting with the speaker, and I don't allow them to complete the topic and making it very uncomfortable for the speaker. Then it is going to be a barrier for effective listening. Then previous experience. Might be you would have heard the speaker before. Okay, you didn't have a positive impact. Might be the speaker spoke about socio-ecological concepts. Okay, today the speaker is speaking about scientific methods, or the speaker is talking about historic achievements or something like this. Okay, so The speaker will talk about different various concepts. Don't have a previous concept experience in your mind saying that, oh, she spoke about social ecological matters and her presentation was not good. Might be that was not her subject. She might be very good in scientific research. Okay, so don't have this particular preconceived expressions in your mind. Get away from that. Preoccupied, so don't be preoccupied with multiple tasks. Like you have an assignment to do. Okay, let me listen to the speech, along with that let me write down my assignment or complete some other task. Okay, try to avoid doing multitasking. Then having a closed mind. Closed mind is I'm not open to the information what they're giving, as I told you. Okay, deep rooted beliefs. Okay, deep rooted belief is something like being a closed mind person. Okay, when I'm trying to be closed mind, I'm not ready to take the new concepts or new inventions and all these things. Then it becomes a closed mind concept. Don't be that. Then bringing in emotions. Might be a person is speaking about certain concepts, you become emotional and try to express your emotions too much. Okay, then it can be a barrier. Don't express yourself too much or keep yourself too little. Okay, keep it in a neutral way where you're able to express your thoughts. Then noise. Try to keep away from all these external disturbances or things that are trying to mentally disturb you. Okay, distractions and all these things, keep it away. Then don't try to fake attention. That is fake attention, we explained it in a previous concept. Okay, non-listeners. So don't try to be a non-listener. Don't try to fake your attention just by saying yes, 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 and daydreaming internally and all those things. Becoming emotional. The first thing is bringing in emotions. Don't get lot of emotion. And the next one is don't become emotional when a person is providing the speech. Okay, might be they're talking about their sad story or a very happy story. Don't try to show a lot of emotions and take away the time what is being presented. Okay, might be you're still in that emotion, they would have, the speaker would have gone ahead. Okay, don't get lost, just like watching a cinema as well. Okay, to avoid jumping to conclusion before the climax is being shown or climax is being explained by the speaker. Don't get into the climax, just wait for them to explain and express all these information. Then the final one is distractions. So whatever is your distractions, keep it away. And if you keep away all these concepts, it will be easier for you to become an effective listener as well. Okay, so these are the barriers to effective listening. So ways to overcome these barriers: provide clues that you are actively involved. So when you are an if a person, okay, if I'm a speaker, okay, I want to know whether you're an active listener or not. If that is the case, provide clues. Okay, what can be the clues? Tell them you are being interested in person. Okay, online, okay, I do understand. But when it is a proper a platform based speech or a class being taken, be involved, provide a positive note, don't interpret a lot. Okay, listen to them, build an eye contact. Okay, have gestures, acknowledge the speaker. This will be certain things where you're telling that you are actively involved in the listening, okay, of the information what is being provided. Then concentrate, that is you are willing and you are being participative in the information what is being provided. So you're not just being a vague listener, but you're listening to the entire information. Okay, you're not getting involved in multitasking or any other activity, but you are listening and concentrating on the information what is being provided. Refrain from formulating an immediate response. So if certain information is being provided, don't jump there and ask questions or ask doubts and do all these things. Wait for the speaker to complete all the information. Might be they have started with a pattern where they start with questions, but slowly they break up each question and they come with ideas and they allow you to think, and after that they give you the answers. Okay, these are also possible. So wait for the speaker to complete his style of speaking, so it will be easier for you to understand the information. So don't immediately formulate a response or a question. Okay, try to prepare forehand. So if there is a topic provided to you saying that this particular person is going to come speak and going to speak about a particular topic, so try to prepare about the topic. Okay, if it is entirely new, Google and see what is the concept all about, what they are going to talk about. Okay, do a preliminary research and understand these things. So understanding might be the speaker will come for an 1 hour speech. Okay, they can't tell you from the basics. They'll give you from the middle level, they will start and they will end with a higher note. Okay, higher level of information. So try to put in your efforts, it will be easier. Then be prepared to accept revisions. So uh, might be the speaker starts speaking and finally they might say there are certain mistakes. Okay, fine, we will correct it, we will go like this and we will solve the problem in a different angle. Okay, so when they do all these things, try to understand and accept the revisions what is being done by the speaker. Okay, don't jump and just like solving a problem. Okay, we are solving a problem, in between the answer came wrong. Okay, what is the other method? Fine, we will go and follow another method. Okay, if this is the way, just go with the flow with the speaker. Okay, so that you understand and you're not being entirely lost. Be sure the environment is conducive to listening. So the environment what you're keeping, kindly keep it away from distractions, interpretation, noise, that is your mobile. Okay, all these things you keep it aside and keep your environment friendly for being an conducive listener. That is attentive and effective listener. Okay, for this perspective, keep your environment pretty helpful. So these are the things again they have explained here. Okay, the same 6 points what they explained, the same 6 or 7 points they have given it here. So with this, we complete the chapter of listening. Okay, so just wait, just wait. Yeah, now you can start with your questions. Comprehensive listening is I'm not just listening to one particular concept, but I'm listening to entire concept. Okay, so I'm listening from the beginning till the end, and I'm understanding all the inputs. Dialogic concept is I'm trying to understand the concept just to dialogue with that person. Okay, interpret and say what is this, what is that, all these things. So that is called dialogic concept. Then don't repeat your questions, kindly wait. Kindly wait, don't copy paste your questions. Okay, a kind request. I will answer the questions. Comprehensive is done, this is done. Okay. Discriminative listening is I'm listening to that person just because I want to find out negative points and discriminate that person. Okay, for this perspective, I am going and listening to what that person is saying. So I'm basically finding faults in discriminative listening. MCQ questions will be provided in the mock tests being provided by the ICSI website. Okay. Yes, the classes will continue for another four days or something. Okay, and we will complete the entire syllabus. Highlighted PDF can't be shared, but I've shared the PDF link where you will find the PDF. You can download it there. Okay, I have edited the PDF here. Critical listening and evaluating listening, judgmental listening, all three are same. Okay, but critical listening will be for argumentation, debates, and all these things. Evaluating listening will be for awarding something. Okay, then judgmental listening will be again for providing judgments. All three things can be interpreted, can be interchangeably used. They are provided in the last line. Okay, all three mean the same. Then appreciative listening is I'm listening to a person just because I have to appreciate them and I am happy with the information what they have told. It is all positively given. Okay. Then diffidence is I'm not happy with the information entirely, I'm finding certain negative points. Okay, and I'm keeping myself away. That is being called as diffidence. Can you send drive link? Which drive link? I didn't understand. Then is it possible that person has all the qualities of listener? It is possible to have all the, you can be different types of listeners based on the speaker. Okay, so based on the speaker, you can be an active listener, passive listener, evaluative listener, biased listener, so all these things. But advisable as a quality, if you ask me, it's better if you imbibe the qualities of being an active listener, however the speaker is. Okay, don't get interacted. Meaning of conducive, conducive is comprehensive. Okay, these are synonym words. uh, Ma'am, what concept should we mainly concentrate on? The concepts, see, understand the concepts Okay, based on the concepts, you have to understand all these higher like the headings. Okay, we don't have an explanatory type of examination. This is only objective type, so you should know what are the qualities of effective listener, active listener, what are the barriers. Okay, so if you know all these things, it will be easier for you to identify in the options given below. Okay, for this perspective, read these chapters a couple of times and make your own notes with the highlighted points, bullet points. So in the exam, it will be easier for you to identify and give what doesn't fall as a barrier to communication. What is the important things of being an effective or an active speaker. Okay, they can give you 4 qualities. Out of that, you have to select one quality. It is easier for you to identify that particular quality. Okay, so kindly make your own notes for that. Ways to refrain an immediate response. I don't understand what it is. Ma'am, what is the difference between active listening and effective listening? Both play an important and an combined role. Okay, so both are equally important, but for your perspective to keep it little more differentiated, in the textbook they have found a way where they can express it in two different concepts. Okay, overall, if you ask me, active and effective speaker combined together, it is one way of listening. Okay, in the different types of listening, if you see, active and effective listening is one way. Okay, but here in expressing the concepts, we have expressed it in a different way, so you understand more precisely. Okay, what is active? In order to be active, what all I have to do? In order to be effective, what all I have to be? So in effective, we told you, keep your disturbances different, don't get into preconceived notions, keep your environment very conducive. Okay, so all these things are important in effective listening. In active listening, you understand the concepts, go ahead and read about the concept, be involved in the concept. So those things are important in active listening. PDF password so that we can also be able to highlight. See, PDF I have paid and I've taken a version, so that's a paid version. What is empathetic? Empathetic, I have explained you so many times. Sympathy is just showing sympathy, being sorrow and expressing a person. Empathy is I'm getting involved with the person's way of speech, the way they teach. Okay, so all these things are attracting me towards that speaker. Then I am become empathetically attracted towards the speaker. Okay, selective is just paying attention to what I want. Biased is I am just being detrimental and showing negative impact, so I am being as a biased listener. Today's class is not last. We will have classes in the next week coming up also. Mm, okay. Perfect pronunciation, M-W is the website where you can use. What is lexion? Lexion is vocabulary. That's a synonym being used. Will you be taking chapter 8? Yes, we will take the entire thing. We are trying to complete the entire syllabus, so kindly please hold on. We will take the remaining 3 chapters also. Okay, most of the things are repeated questions. Again, what is active, effective, all these things. Okay, deep-rooted beliefs are beliefs which can't be changed about a particular person because he has lived with that throughout his life, and he believes that this particular method works for him for a long time. That's why I told you, if you speak about a solar eclipse to elders, they will not agree. Okay, they still believe it's not good going out. Wherever eclipse happens, you shouldn't eat. Okay, so they all have this belief. Okay, but these are scientifically being proved that it is wrong, but still this belief can't be taken out from a person. That's called as deep rooted belief. Okay, so take care of your health. Thank you. I just have cold, I'm recovering. Okay, fine. We have completed what is being importantly required in this class. So we will close the class. I've taken almost 10 minutes for expressing the differences. Okay. So the next class we will update you in a very short time. Okay. Give us some time. So after this, we will have the class in the next week, we will keep you posted on the upcoming classes. So kindly give us some time and we will update you. Okay. Synonyms and antonyms, how should I prepare? Okay. I've given explanations again and again. You're asking the same. Synonyms and antonyms, go prepare with M-W. Okay. That website will help you prepare for synonyms and antonyms. Okay. Fine. Thank you for the day. We will go ahead and have a great day. Okay. Thank you. I will just end the class for the day.